The massive ship appeared without warning above Earth's atmosphere. It hung there silently for 3 days while governments around the world argued about what to do. Some wanted to launch missiles. Others wanted to send welcome messages. In the ice, and they did nothing but watch and wait. On the 4th day, smaller ships emerged from the large one. They flew down and landed in an open field outside Geneva, Switzerland. World leaders gathered quickly. Military forces surrounded the area, but kept their distance. The ships opened. Tall, blue-skinned creatures with 4 arms walked out. They wore shining silver clothes that seemed to move like water. One of them stepped forward and spoke in perfect English. "We are the Vexthal, representatives of the Galactic Council. We come in peace to welcome Earth into the wider universe." Commander William Foster stood at the front of the human group. He was a strong man with short gray hair who had seen many battles. Next to him stood Dr. Laura Hayes, a smart woman with kind eyes who had studied alien communication theories her whole life, even when people laughed at her. "We welcome you to Earth," Foster said simply, his hand resting near his gun. Laura stepped forward. "We are honored by your visit and eager to learn from you." The alien named Vexthal smiled, showing teeth that looked like small white pearls. "You are not the first species we have welcomed. There are thousands of worlds in our council. All live in peace. All share knowledge and resources." For the next week, the aliens met with Earth's leaders. They showed amazing technology, machines that could heal any sickness, devices that could make food from air, and ships that could travel faster than light. The humans were amazed but also careful. Earth had many countries that often fought with each other. They had wars, hunger, and many problems. But they also had art, music, and a strong will to survive. In a private meeting room, Vexthal spoke, with Foster and Hayes. "Your species is young," the alien said. "You fight among yourselves. You damage your planet. The Council has rules. You may join as observers only. Full membership will take many years, perhaps centuries." Foster's face turned red with anger, but he stayed quiet. Laura spoke instead. "We understand. We have much to learn. But we also have much to offer." Vexthal nodded. "Perhaps. Time will tell." Other aliens on the council were not as friendly as Vexthal. A small green alien with huge black eyes watched the humans closely. "They ask too many questions," it said to Vexthal. "They want to know how everything works. No other species has been so curious." "Curiosity is not dangerous," Vexthal replied. "Their history is full of war," said another alien with skin like stone. "They kill each other over land, over ideas, over tiny differences in appearance. They cannot be trusted." The council members voted. Earth would be allowed to send observers to council meetings. They could trade with other worlds. But they would not get full membership or access to the most advanced technology. Foster was angry when he heard the news. "They see us as children," he told Laura as they walked along Lake Geneva. "They want to keep us weak." Laura shook her head. "They're being careful. We have to prove ourselves." "While they watch our every move," Foster said. "They have spy satellites around our planet. Now, did you know that?" In the following months, alien visitors became common on Earth. They came as tourists, traders, and teachers. Humans were allowed to visit some alien worlds too. People like Steve Rogers, a farmer from Iowa, stood on the red sands of another planet and cried at the beauty of 2 setting suns. Mary Wilson, a doctor from Boston, learned alien medicine and brought back knowledge that saved millions of lives. Kids in schools began to learn alien languages. The world started to change. But in secret meetings, Foster and other military leaders from around the world shared their concerns. "They're not telling us everything," said General Kim from South Korea. "Their ships have weapons they never talk about, and they block our questions about certain technologies," added Colonel Garcia from Mexico. "They say we're not ready." Foster nodded. "We need to be ready for anything." Laura Hayes worked closely with the aliens. She learned their languages and customs. She built trust. One day, 7 years after first contact, an older alien named Zorn pulled her aside. "You should know," Zorn whispered. "There are those on the council who fear humans." "Fear us? Why?" We're far less advanced than you. Because you adapt so quickly. Because you solve problems in ways we never consider. Some believe that in 1,000 years humans might dominate the galaxy. They wish to prevent this. Laura took this information to Foster. He was now the head of Earth's Space Defense Force. His office was deep underground, safe from alien observation. They want to keep us in our place, Foster said. Just as I suspected. What can we do? Laura asked. Foster smiled and pressed a button on his desk. A hidden door opened in the wall. Inside was a laboratory where scientists worked on strange devices. We've been studying every piece of alien technology we could get our hands on, Foster explained. And we've made breakthroughs they don't expect. He showed Laura a small silver cube. This creates a field that blocks their sensors. And this, he pointed to a larger machine, is our version of their faster-than-light drive. Not as good as theirs yet, but it works. But how? They never shared those technologies with us. Humans are good at figuring things out, Laura. Really, good. Over the next month, strange things began to happen. Human ships that normally reported their positions went quiet. Communication stations on the moon stopped transmitting. Alien visitors on Earth found their hosts suddenly busy or away. In space, Council observers noted unusual energy readings from Earth, but couldn't identify the source. They sent messages asking for information. No one answered. Then, suddenly, all signals from Earth stopped. The communication network that connected Earth to the galaxy went silent. Council ships approached Earth to investigate but found they couldn't get closer than the edge of the solar system. An invisible wall kept them out. In the Grand Council chamber on a distant world, Vexthal addressed the worried representatives of 1,000 planets. Something has happened with the humans, he said. They have disappeared. Destroyed themselves, perhaps? Asked the stone-skinned alien. Their violent nature finally won? No, said Vexthal quietly. I fear they have done something much worse. They have escaped our control. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council knew fear. Krelzar stood on the bridge of the Council's largest battleship. He was a tall alien with red skin covered in gold patterns that showed his high rank. For 300 years, he had kept peace across the galaxy. Now he faced something new. Show me Earth again, he ordered. The screen in front of him lit up. Earth looked the same as always. Blue oceans, green and brown land, white clouds. It looked peaceful, but no one could get close to it. We've sent 10 probe ships, said his second-in-command. None can pass the barrier. It circles their entire solar system. Krelzar touched his chin with one clawed finger. What kind of power could create such a barrier? Even we cannot make one so large. The fleet of 50 council ships had been watching Earth for 30 days now. They used their best scanning equipment but found nothing unusual except the invisible wall that kept them out. No signals came from Earth. No ships tried to leave. It was as if humans had decided to cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy. Perhaps they destroyed themselves, suggested an officer. No, said Krelzar. Something stranger is happening. Back at the Galactic Council headquarters, leaders from 1,000 worlds met to discuss the human problem. The great meeting hall was filled with beings of all shapes and sizes. Some had fur, some had scales, some floated in tanks of special liquid. All were worried. Humans were always dangerous, said a small green alien. We should have destroyed them when we first found them. No, said Vexthal, who had first met the humans. They are young but have great potential. Then why have they gone silent? Asked another council member. What are they hiding? On a small space station near the edge of council space, Elizabeth Winters sat in a plain room. She was the last known human in council territory. She had been a diplomat working with alien species before all humans disappeared. Now she was being questioned. You must know something, said the alien investigator. Did your people plan this? Elizabeth looked tired but calm. I've told you everything I know. I have no special information. Your people bought large amounts of rare metals in the months before they went silent. They completed all their trading contracts early. They recalled their ships. They prepared for something. Elizabeth shrugged. Humans are always preparing. It's in our nature. The investigator showed her pictures of Earth surrounded by the barrier. This technology is beyond your people's abilities. Someone must have helped you. For the first time, Elizabeth smiled. You always underestimated us. That was your mistake. The next morning, guards found Elizabeth's room empty. There was no sign of how she had escaped from a locked room on a space station thousands of miles from anywhere. She had simply vanished. On a planet called Nexus Prime, Council scientists studied everything they knew about humans. Dr. Zell was the lead scientist, a tall, thin alien with skin that changed colors to match his mood. Right now he was pale blue, the color of deep thought. Look at human history, he told his team. They went from horse-drawn carriages to space travel in less than 200 years. No other species has developed so quickly. He showed them pictures of Earth's rapid changes. Most species take thousands of years to advance as much as humans did in centuries. Their minds work differently. They see connections others miss. Another scientist spoke up. But the barrier technology is still beyond them. Our calculations show it would take them at least 500 more years to develop such power. Dr. Zell's skin turned purple with excitement. Unless they found something we missed. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Council trading posts reported that all humans living off-world had disappeared on the same day. Their homes were empty. Their possessions left behind. Thousands of humans had vanished without a trace. Krelzar ordered his ships to move closer to the barrier around Earth. Probe it again. Find a weakness. A small scout ship approached the invisible wall. It moved slowly, taking careful measurements. Suddenly, the barrier sparked with blue light. The scout ship backed away quickly. It's changing, reported the pilot. The barrier is getting stronger. Before their eyes, the blue glow spread across the entire barrier. It pulsed once, twice, then pushed outward. The council ships moved back in alarm as the barrier expanded. It grew until it covered not just Earth's solar system, but 3 nearby star systems as well. Impossible, whispered Krelzar. The amount of energy needed to create and move such a barrier was more than the entire council fleet could generate. An emergency meeting was called. The oldest members of the council gathered in a secret chamber. These were beings who rarely showed themselves, the elders who had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. There are stories, said one elder whose body was mostly mechanical after thousands of years of life. Ancient stories of another species who once withdrew from the galaxy. They were called the precursors. The others shifted uncomfortably. The precursors were almost a myth, a species said to have reached a level of advancement that seemed like magic to others. The precursors disappeared for 3,000 years, the elder continued. When they returned, they had changed. They had found something beyond normal science, a way to control matter and energy with thought alone. Those are just stories, said another elder. The precursors died out millions of years ago. Their ruins still exist on many worlds. But what if humans found those ruins? What if they discovered the precursors' secrets? Fear spread through the room. If humans had found precursor technology, there was no telling what they might become. Outside, the council headquarters, strange things began to happen. Monitoring stations in deep space picked up unusual energy readings. Something was moving out there in the darkness between stars. Not ships, but disturbances in space itself. Council worlds increased their defenses. Ships were called back from exploration missions. For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council prepared for a possible war. And still, Earth remained silent. The barrier glowed blue in space, hiding whatever was happening inside. 3 years passed this way. The Council waited and watched. They sent messages toward Earth but received no answers. Then one day, without warning, the barrier disappeared. Where once there had been an impenetrable wall, Now there was only empty space. Council observers rushed to report the change. "The barrier is gone," they said. "We can see Earth again." But before anyone could approach, new readings appeared on their screens. Ships were coming out of Earth's solar system, thousands of them, and they didn't look like anything humans had built before. The new human ships moved unlike anything the Council had ever seen. They didn't seem to push through space like normal ships. Instead, they slipped through it like fish through water. They were smooth and silver with no visible engines or weapons. They spread out across Council space but didn't attack or threaten anyone. On the Council homeworld, leaders argued about what to do. "We should strike first," said Krelzar, "while we still can." "No," said Vexithal. "We must talk to them. Learn what has happened." A message arrived from the human fleet. It was simple. "We request a meeting with the full Council. We come in peace." The Council chambers were filled with representatives from every world. The air buzzed with nervous energy. Guards stood at every door with weapons ready. In the center of the room was a single empty platform where the human representative would stand. A flash of light filled the room. When it faded, a human man stood on the platform. He wore simple clothes, a plain gray suit with no decorations. He looked ordinary in every way except for his eyes. They seemed to see everything at once. "My name is Kevin Reeves," he said. "I speak for Earth and all humans." Vexthal stepped forward. "Why did you cut yourselves off from the galaxy? Why have you returned with this fleet?" Kevin smiled. "We needed time. When you denied us full membership in your council, we realized we had to find our own path." The room was silent. Everyone listened closely. "Humans have always been good at solving puzzles," Kevin continued. "Your council gave us a glimpse of the universe but kept many secrets. We wanted to know more, so we looked in places you had forgotten." "What places?" asked an elder council member. "The ruins of the precursors," Kevin said. "You've studied them for thousands of years but never understood them. We found something there that changed everything." Kevin held out his hand. Above it, a small ball of light appeared. It wasn't a technology or device. It seemed to come from nowhere. "This isn't technology," Kevin explained. "It's understanding. The precursors didn't build better machines. They learned to connect with the universe itself." The council members watched in shock as Kevin made the ball of light change shape and color. It became a small model of Earth, then of the council chamber, then disappeared. "Every human now has this ability," Kevin said. "We call it the awakening. We spent these years learning to control it, to understand it. We rebuilt our society around it." "Impossible," whispered Krelzar. "No species could advance so quickly." "You've always underestimated us," Kevin said. "Humans adapt. We see patterns others miss. We take risks others avoid." On Centauri Prime, the busiest trading world in council space, something strange happened. Alan Mitchell, a human who had lived there for years, stood in the central market. People of many species walked around him buying and selling goods from across the galaxy. Alan looked up at the sky and smiled. Then, before the eyes of dozens of witnesses, he simply vanished. No technology was used. No ship picked him up. One moment he was there, the next he was gone. Similar reports came in from every world where humans had once lived. They all disappeared at the same time. Some waved goodbye. Others just smiled. All vanished without a trace. In the council chamber, Kevin continued speaking. "We've come back not to join your council, but to warn you. There's a threat approaching that your leaders have known about but hidden from their people." The oldest council members shifted uncomfortably. Kevin pointed at them. "They know what I'm talking about. The ancient enemy that comes from between galaxies, the ones who have destroyed countless civilizations before. They're coming here now." The room erupted in noise as representatives demanded answers from the elders. Vexithal looked shocked. He hadn't known about this threat. "It's true," admitted one elder finally. "We detected them 50 years ago. They won't arrive for another 100 years. We've been preparing slowly, quietly to avoid panic." "They'll arrive in 5 years," Kevin corrected. Your measurements were wrong, and you're not prepared enough." He waved his hand, and the center of the room filled with a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Red dots appeared at the edges, moving slowly inward. "These are their scout ships," Kevin explained. "Already inside our galaxy. The main fleet follows, close behind." Panic spread through the room. Some representatives rushed out to warn their worlds. Others shouted questions at the elders. Some just sat in shocked silence. Kevin waited for quiet before speaking again. "Humanity offers you a choice. Join with us against this threat or face it alone." "Join with you?" asked Krelzar. "You mean submit to you? You want to rule the council now?" Kevin shook his head. "No, we want to teach you. What we learned, what we became, is possible for any thinking species. The awakening isn't just for humans, it's a natural step in evolution. The precursors discovered it. Now we have too. You can join us." "And if we refuse?" asked an elder. "Then we will protect ourselves and any who stand with us," Kevin said simply. "The choice is yours." The council debated for 7 days. Some worlds immediately agreed to work with humans. Others, especially older and more powerful worlds, refused to believe they needed help. They saw humans as a threat, not a savior. The council split into 2 groups. The Alliance accepted humanity's offer. The Confederation chose to stand alone. On Earth, things had changed greatly. Cities now floated above the ground. People moved without vehicles. The barrier that had hidden Earth was gone, replaced by a new understanding of space and time. William Foster, now old with white hair, stood with Laura Hayes on a platform high above the old United Nations building in Geneva. Below them, groups of aliens from Alliance worlds learned from human teachers. "Did you ever think we'd end up here?" Foster asked. "Teaching aliens instead of learning from them?" Laura smiled. "I always knew humans were special. Not better, just different. We see the world in ways they don't." Foster watched a group of young aliens practicing the same skills Kevin had shown the council. Small balls of light hovered above their hands. "Some learn quickly," he noted. "Yes," Laura agreed. "Especially the younger ones. They haven't spent centuries thinking in old ways." From space, Earth now looked different too. A soft glow surrounded it, visible only to those who had experienced the awakening. Similar glows began to appear around other Alliance worlds as more beings learned the new ways. At the edges of the galaxy the enemy approached. Their ships were black and spiky, designed to cause fear. They had destroyed thousands of civilizations before. They expected this galaxy to fall easily, as others had. They didn't expect to find humanity waiting for them. They didn't expect to find a united alliance of worlds with powers beyond normal science. They didn't expect the silence that had hidden Earth to become a shout that would shake the stars. Admiral Samantha Wells stood on the bridge of her ship, the Horizon. It didn't look like ships used to look. There were no buttons, no screens, no control panels. The walls seemed to be made of flowing silver that changed and moved like water. Samantha didn't need controls anymore. The ship responded to her thoughts. "The Confederation forces are gathering at Rigel," said Peter Collins, her second in command. He was a young man with dark skin and serious eyes. "They still don't trust us." Samantha nodded. "Fear makes people do foolish things." The Alliance now included over 600 worlds. They accepted humanity's help and learned the ways of the awakening. Some species learned quickly. Others struggled. But all were trying. The Confederation had almost 400 worlds. They saw humans as a threat, not as helpers. They built weapons and ships the old way. They prepared for war, not just against the coming enemy, but against humans too. "We should talk to them again," Samantha said. "Send a message to their leaders. Invite them to see what we've accomplished." On a planet called New Terra, humans worked with alien scientists. They studied the awakening together. Dr. Jack Rivers led the research team. He had been a simple college professor before the awakening. Now he taught beings from across the galaxy. "The key is to stop thinking of yourself as separate from the universe," he explained to a group of eager students. "We are not just in the universe. We are part of it, connected to it. A young alien with purple fur raised a tentacle. But how? How do we connect? Jack smiled. Close your eyes. Feel the energy around you, not with your body but with your mind. The students closed, their eyes or whatever they used to see. Jack watched as soft glows began to appear around some of them, their first steps toward the awakening. In deep space at the edge of the galaxy, human scout ships watched the approaching enemy. The enemy ships were huge and black. They moved in perfect formation. They showed no signs of communication or life. Many believed they were not ships at all, but living creatures that fed on the energy of civilizations. Susan Martinez piloted one of the scout ships. She kept her distance, staying just outside the enemy's sensors. For 3 weeks she had watched them, studying their movements. They're speeding up, she reported back to Earth. They'll reach the outer colonies in 4 months, not 5. In the old council chambers now used by the Alliance, Kevin Reeves met with leaders from many worlds. He had not aged a day since his first appearance 3 years earlier. The awakening had changed humans in many ways. The enemy approaches faster than expected, he told them. We must prepare our defenses. An alien with skin like blue crystal stood up. My people have achieved the first level of awakening. We can create the barrier around our world now. Good, Kevin said. The barrier will be our first defense. Another alien, this one floating in a tank of green liquid, spoke through a translator. My species learns slowly. We cannot achieve the awakening in time. Then we will protect you, Kevin promised. No world that stands with us will face the enemy alone. The Confederation leaders met on their own world, far from Alliance space. They sat in a dark room around a table made of rare black stone. They did not trust each other, but they feared humans more. Their ships move without engines, said one leader. They appear and disappear at will. They teach these powers to others. Soon they will control the galaxy. General Varex, a tall alien, with red scales and sharp teeth, showed them plans for a new weapon. This can disrupt their abilities. Our tests show it can weaken the power they call the awakening. Test it again, ordered the head of the Confederation. Be sure. We will have only one chance. On Earth, Laura Hayes sat in a garden outside her home. She was very old now, her hair white, her hands wrinkled, but her mind was as sharp as ever, and through the awakening her body remained strong. William Foster sat beside her. They had been friends for many years through the first contact, through the silence, and now through humanity's new role in the galaxy. Do you think they'll ever understand? Laura asked. The Confederation, I mean. Foster shook his head. Some people can only learn through experience. They have to see the enemy for themselves. By then it might be too late. In space, the enemy continued to approach. Their black ships moved faster now, as if they sensed something waiting for them. Susan Martinez and the other scouts pulled back, staying just ahead of them. One day, a Confederation patrol ship spotted Susan's scout ship. They didn't recognize the new human designs. Unknown vessel, they transmitted. Identify yourself. Susan sent back her identification. Alliance scout ship Pathfinder. I'm monitoring the approaching enemy fleet. There is no enemy fleet. The Confederation ship responded. This is another human trick. Look for yourself, Susan told them. They're less than a light year away now. The Confederation ship moved forward beyond Susan's position. They scanned the area but found nothing. Their older technology couldn't detect what Susan's enhanced senses could. You lie, they accused. We're reporting this to our command. 3 days later, the Confederation ship disappeared. No distress call, no debris. It simply vanished from their tracking systems. The Confederation blamed humans. They said it was an attack, a first strike in a war. They moved their fleet toward Alliance, space. They're making a terrible mistake, Samantha told her crew. They're moving away from the real threat. Kevin Reeves called an emergency meeting of the Alliance. The enemy has taken its first victim. The Confederation still does not believe. They prepare to attack us instead. Let them come, said a young alien leader. We will show them the truth. No, Kevin said firmly. We don't fight among ourselves, that's what the enemy wants. Instead, Kevin sent a message to all Confederation worlds. It wasn't transmitted by normal means. It appeared simultaneously in the minds of every being on every world. The enemy is real. They have destroyed their first ship. Look to the Rigel sector. See the darkness spreading. We offer protection, not control. Join us or face the darkness alone. Many Confederation citizens were frightened by the message appearing in their minds, but some leaders saw it as proof that humans were dangerous. General Varix convinced them to launch their new weapon. It will disrupt their mental powers, he promised. It will protect us from their mind control. The weapon was fired from a hidden base. It sent waves of energy through space designed to interfere with the patterns of thought that powered the awakening. On Alliance worlds, people felt the attack. It was like a sudden headache, a pressure in the mind. But it passed quickly. The awakening was more than just mental power. It was a connection to the universe itself, and the universe protected its own. Kevin Reeves felt the attack too. He stood in his simple home on Earth and looked toward the stars. Now they've done it, he said quietly. Now they've gotten the enemy's attention. The black ships changed course. They moved away from Alliance space and headed straight for the Confederation worlds. The darkness between stars seemed to flow with them, reaching ahead like hungry fingers. The first Confederation world fell 3 days later. No survivors, no distress call, just silence. The news of the lost Confederation world spread quickly. Panic filled the remaining Confederation planets. 3 more worlds fell within a week. No warning, no chance to fight back. Just sudden silence as the black ships passed. General Varix called an emergency meeting of all Confederation leaders. Half of them didn't show up. They were already running, trying to hide their ships among the stars. Our weapon failed, Varix admitted. The humans were stronger than we thought. It's not the humans we should fear, said an older leader. It's what's hunting us now. After much argument, the Confederation leaders made a difficult decision. They sent a message to the Alliance asking for help. Kevin Reeves brought the message to the Alliance Council. They want our protection now, he told them, after they attacked us. Some Alliance members wanted to refuse. Let them face the darkness. They invited, said one angry leader, but Samantha Wells stood up. We protect all life in this galaxy, even those who fear us. That's what makes us different from the enemy. The Alliance voted. They would help the Confederation. Ships were sent to evacuate the worlds in the enemy's path. Barriers were created around planets that couldn't be evacuated in time. The humans shared their knowledge freely now, teaching as quickly as they could. On the front lines, the first real battle took place. Alliance ships met the black enemy vessels near a small mining colony. Susan Martinez led a fleet of 50 ships against over 200 enemy craft. Remember your training, she told her crew, a mix of humans and aliens who had achieved the awakening. We don't fight with weapons. We fight with understanding. The enemy ships attacked with beams of dark energy that could cut through normal metal like paper. But the Alliance ships weren't made of normal metal anymore. They shifted and flowed, the damage healing as quickly as it was made. Susan stretched out her mind, connecting with her crew and the other ships. Together they reached deeper into the fabric of space itself. The enemy had always used fear as a weapon. For the first time, they met beings who felt no fear. The battle lasted 3 days. The Alliance lost 12 ships. The enemy lost 180. The rest retreated, moving back toward the edge of the galaxy. They're regrouping, Susan reported. Changing tactics. They've never had to retreat before. On Earth, in a quiet room beneath the old United Nations building, William Foster and Laura Hayes watched the reports come in. They were among the few original humans who had seen first contact all those years ago. Now they saw the first victory against an enemy that had destroyed countless worlds. We've only seen their scouts, Foster warned. Their main fleet is still coming. Laura nodded. But now we know they can be beaten, and the Confederation is starting to understand. General Varix was one of the first Confederation leaders to try the awakening. He struggled with it. His mind was set in old ways, filled with suspicion and fear, but he kept trying. "I have spent 300 years fighting," he told his human teacher. "I don't know how to stop." "Don't stop," the teacher advised. "Just change what you're fighting for." Little by little, the barriers between Confederation and Alliance broke down. Not everyone accepted the new ways. Some Confederation worlds still refused help. Most of those worlds fell silent when the enemy reached them. Kevin Reeves traveled to the edge of the galaxy where the main enemy fleet approached. He went alone in a small ship. The enemy vessels surrounded him, thousands of black ships that blocked out the stars. For 3 days, Kevin's ship just floated there, not moving, not communicating. The Alliance waited nervously for news. Some thought he had been destroyed. Others thought he had joined the enemy. On the 4th day, Kevin returned. His ship appeared suddenly in Earth orbit. He looked tired but calm. "I have seen them," he told the waiting Alliance leaders. "I have touched their minds." "What are they?" asked Samantha. "What do they want?" "They are old," Kevin said. "Older than any civilization we know. They evolved in the darkness between galaxies. They feed on fear and death. They've consumed 1,000 galaxies before ours. Can they be stopped?" asked a Confederation representative who had finally joined the Alliance. Kevin nodded. "Yes. They've never met beings like us before, beings who can touch the universe itself. They don't understand what we are." He showed them images from his mind, the vast enemy fleet, the strange creatures that controlled the ships, the hunger that drove them from galaxy to galaxy. "They're afraid of us now," Kevin said. "That's why they'll attack with everything they have. One final push to destroy us before we grow stronger." The Alliance prepared. Every world that could be protected had a barrier now. Those who had mastered the awakening taught others. Ships were built not with technology, but with thought and will. The line between matter and energy, between mind and reality, grew thin. The enemy fleet arrived 3 months later, millions of black ships spreading across the galaxy like a cloud of smoke. They attacked everything in their path: planets, moons, space stations. Nothing was spared. Alliance ships met them at every turn. The battles lit up the galaxy with strange energies. Stars seemed to flicker as space itself was warped and twisted by powers beyond normal understanding. On Earth, children as young as 5 years old joined the defense. Through the awakening, they added their minds to the great network that held the barriers in place. Species that had once been enemies now fought side by side. The Confederation and Alliance no longer existed. There was only the living worlds against the darkness. The final battle took place near the center of the galaxy. The enemy had pushed toward Earth, hoping to cut off the head of the resistance. They didn't understand that humanity no longer needed Earth. The awakening connected all humans no matter where they were. Samantha Wells led the defense. Her ship had changed again, becoming little more than a point of light that moved faster than thought. Around her, ships from 1,000 worlds formed patterns in space that strengthened their connection to the universe. The enemy attacked with weapons that could destroy stars. Whole solar systems vanished in flashes of dark energy. But for every world lost, the Alliance grew stronger, more determined. Kevin Reeves joined Samantha at the front. "It's time," he said. "We can't just defend anymore. We have to show them what we truly are." Together they reached out to every mind in the Alliance. Every being that had achieved even the smallest connection to the awakening felt the call. Trillions of minds joined together, reaching into the deepest levels of reality. For a moment, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then a wave of light spread out from the Alliance fleet. It wasn't a weapon or an attack. It was understanding, pure knowledge of what the universe truly was. The enemy ships stopped moving. For the first time in their ancient existence, they felt something besides hunger and fear. They felt connection. Some enemy ships fled, retreating to the darkness between galaxies. Others simply dissolved, their forms no longer able to exist in the presence of such understanding. A few remained, their black surfaces slowly changing to silver as they joined the alliance. The war was over. The galaxy had been forever changed. Humanity had led the way, but all species had contributed to the victory. Together they had discovered that the universe wasn't a place of darkness and fear. It was a place of light and connection. On a small hill outside Geneva, William Foster and Laura Hayes sat watching the sunset. Above them, the sky was filled with the lights of ships from across the galaxy, coming to Earth to learn and share. When we fell silent, Laura said quietly, the Council feared us. Foster smiled and took her hand. Now the silence is gone forever. Now we all speak with one voice. Around them, the grass glowed softly with the energy of the awakening. The light spread out, connecting Earth to the stars. Humanity had found its place in the universe, not as conquerors, not as servants, but as teachers. The silence had ended. The real story had just begun.